together in the same direction are performing otherwise. So these latest upswings, downswings tell me that something is fundamentally wrong, which defies economic theory.
What can that possibly be if it's not the obvious that we know?
So now we come to that point that let us investigate this. Let us put the politics aside and think through it and see how come a currency depreciates so much. Then in a matter of a week, it also comes down. I saw 4.7 sometime last week. I said, this is unbelievable. What is happening? So there must be something that we have not averted our minds to in the past. And I think this is time for us to look to the data and really understand the happenings in the economy all over again.
And that was the voice of Mr. Mark Asibeyeboah, who is the chair of the Finance Committee in Parliament. Now, he was speaking about the fact that the fundamentals are not weak and that there are other reasons for the cedi's fluctuation. But his ranking member, KCL Atuforsen, disagrees.
For me and for the minority, if we are to call upon to serve Ghana in any capacity, obviously in the interest of the country, we will be able to offer our competence or advice in that regard. But let me say that I personally think that it's a waste of time and resources, because the depreciation of the currency, concern, what we are seeing is only the symptom. It is not the disease. We know what the disease is. And in fact, everybody else, if you speak to anyone else in this country, we know what is actually causing the problems of the currency depreciation. Two things. One, we all know that the investment in the rail sector that at least will provide us some import substitution is not actually happening in the economy. We are not investing heavily in areas of agriculture, areas that we can easily not import, but rather we are investing so much on consumption. That is one of the problems. Again, we are actually borrowing a bit too much, to the extent that foreigners' participation in our economy is a bit so much, to the extent that all the forex that we end up correcting, a chunk of them is actually used in servicing loans. So you see the capital account, you see some capital amount of money we use in servicing our debt, an amount of money we use in actually paying some of this debt itself is a problem for us as a country. So we all know where the problem is coming from. I don't think that we need to now sit and find what the causes are and then and come out with solutions.
And that's the voice of Atuforsen, who is a ranking member of the Finance Committee. Now, in his statement, the Minister for Finance also sort of took a dig at former Finance Minister, Mr. Setsepe, and that was because of the 1 billion euro bond that had been issued in 2015, and it was the highest coupon rate ever in Ghana history at 10.75%. Listen to Setsepe's response.
The situation was that we had 3 and 5 year bonds that were falling due, and we needed money for refinancing. One of the lessons from that was the setting up of the sinking fund. I think the more relevant question to ask is, we were able to use $500 million of our own oil revenue to buy back the 2007 bond that was issued by the current administration without a strategy for redemption. The sinking fund has accumulated $800 million. We should ask what has become of that money. I think that's a more relevant question. If you have to refinance and at rates, domestic rates that were in the 20s and heading towards the 30s, I believe that if you use 10.275%, and remember this was in 2015 when crude oil prices had fallen, Saudi Arabia was taking money out of emerging markets, and we explained all these issues. If we took 10.75 under those circumstances to come and refinance 3 and 5 year bonds that were heading towards 30%, I think it is prudent. So it's a lack of appreciation of the problems that face the economy, including the lack of supply of gas from Nigeria, which was simplified in one word, doom so. So that is my quick response. But the most pathetic, fiscal philosophy I heard today is to compare 3 billion borrowing by a country that declared HIPC previously with a 750 million US dollars by a government which in opposition said they were not going to borrow. And we feel proud today standing in Parliament and saying that, beating our chest that we did more.
But it's cheaper.
3 billion.
It's cheaper now.
US dollars. Let me say that the rate of borrowing is increasing. It's in the 2019 budget. And that is what we should be watching.
And that was the voice of former Finance Minister, Mr. Seth Terkper. And if you've just joined us, this is the Super Morning Show here on Joy 99.7. And we're talking about the Minister of Finance's address to Parliament yesterday about a number of things, including our exit from the IMF, the historic 3 billion Eurobond issuance, the recent development of foreign exchange, and maybe not as, we haven't been as focused on the World Bank's Vice President's visit to Ghana. But I've been joined in the studio. Before I do that, though, in a few minutes, we'll be speaking to Professor Eric Osei-Asibe. He's an assistant professor of economics at University of Ghana. And this morning, I have one aim. My aim really is to understand exactly what is going on. And in doing that, help you understand what is going on. A lot of times, a lot of these economic terms are thrown at us and these statements are read to us. But bottom line, what does it mean for us? What does it mean for our children? What does it mean for the country that we're going to be leaving behind, or the country that we're going to be living in the next 25 to 30 years? What does it mean for you as a business that the city is stable now? What does it mean for us as a country that we've taken a loan? Because remember that a Eurobond really is a loan. We've taken a loan of $3 billion and we will have to pay back. What does it mean for us in 20 years? What does it mean for us in 50 years? So that's the conversation that we'll be having this morning. We will speak to, like I said, Professor Eric Osei-Asibe. He's an assistant professor of economics at the University of Ghana. However, I'm joined in the studio at the moment by Norvan Akwa-Hayford from Joy Business. Good morning, Norvan. Thank you very much for being here. I also have Mami Awinado as well, who was with us from the beginning of the show. Mami, thank you as well for being here. And a few seconds away from the studio is Raymond Akwa. He'll also be joining in on this conversation as we break down this thing that we're talking about this morning. So Norvan, I'm going to start with you. And yesterday, when you listened to the finance minister, what is the main thing that really jumped at you from his presentation?
Anymore, it's quite interesting to have listened to the finance minister who had gone to Parliament to do three things, or you say four of them, if you want to break it down. Per his own statement, first was to brief us the exit from the IMF program. That's the ECF that we were in, and then also talk about the Eurobond, the Eurobond that we say has been very successful, according to what they've been telling us, and then talk about the city's performance, and then also brief the same Parliament on the Vice President of the World Bank's visit to Ghana. I mean, for him, they see that as something that was very important. But I think that one of the key things that had been on almost everybody's mind had to do with the performance of the city. And for me, for the government or the finance minister to now say, you know what, I think that we should have a bipartisan approach in dealing with this city. It's one of the things that was a takeaway for me, admitting that, yes, we have a problem as a nation, and if we have to deal with the blips as far as the currency is concerned, it does not take only one person or a party to deal with it. It's a good thing. I hope that everybody will come on board, and then we can look at this thing holistically, because we say that it's the structure of the economy. And if you want to deal with the structure of the economy, there are a lot of things that you need to do. You don't have to continue dealing with the symptoms. Yes, you have Eurobond coming in, but remember, it is a refinancing thing that you are doing. What you're doing is you owe people money. There's time for you to pay. What do? You go and borrow again and use it to pay for it. So it's not that 3 billion is supposed to come and sit.
You're robbing Peter to pay Paul.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's not that it's come to sit here and then you're going to be using those monies. Yes, we admit that you've got it at a lower rate. You have some balance that you use to support your budget.
It's still a loan.
It's still a loan anyway, if you want to put it that way. So for me, we need to go beyond just the rhetoric and see how we can deal with this city. And industrialization, how do we do it? You want to look at what should be the structure of the kind of industrialization that you have to do.
Okay.
If in Nigeria, they could take that bold step to have somebody like Dangote, to have somebody like the Glowman, and all those, kind of companies which have gone beyond the Nigerian market and are in Ghana, some of them on the world stage. Look at their banks.
Yeah.
I mean, when they went through the same...
Look at their banks here in Ghana.
Not only in Ghana.
I'm saying,
you go into the UK,
Yeah.
you go into other markets, and these banks are there, playing with all the big boys, as far as, financing is concerned. It means that we must, as a people, begin to look at, okay, how do we pick Mr. A, who's an entrepreneur, and then build him up beyond just putting in the right structures? What other support can the government give to that person and help him move beyond the shores of this country?
Okay, Mami, I'll come to you in a minute, but Novan, I want this bipartisan committee, is it necessary? Now, the reason I'm asking is because the finance minister, in his statement, he says that concerning the depreciation of the cedi, it may be as a result of income transfer as well as seasonal demands by importers, and it is not due to weak fundamentals. So if he's saying that it is not due to weak fundamentals, it's because we're taking money out of the economy, and these big institutions are taking the foreign currency out of the country, and we're still importing. When he highlights these issues, for me, it kind of looks like he knows what is wrong. So what is the point therein of a committee if we kind of already know what is wrong? And we've been singing this song for a long time. I've been singing it. Raymond has been singing about the fact that we're taking money out of the economy. We're not importing. So what exactly is the committee going to do? Or tell us that we don't know?
I don't know what they are thinking. But you see, first of all, look at his statement. May, the word may that you put there is kind of, we think that is the issue. It's not that you think. It is one of the issues that you must look at. And if you look at, you are talking about fundamentals. What are the fundamentals? If you can come back and educate me about what the real fundamentals that you are talking about is, because you have a lot of multinational companies. Now, the structure of the economy as it is now, the huge or big companies or the tier 1 companies, most of them don't belong to Ghanaians. They are foreign companies. And if they are foreign based, what is going to happen to you is that at the first quarter of every year,
they'll take the money away.
Right, well, and then importers, they also come in. These importers always need the hard currency to be able to bring in their goods. So you want to stop importing. You are promoting made in Ghana. If you're promoting made in Ghana, what kind of businesses are you putting in place?
We're promoting made in Ghana, but still buying the parliament upholstery from China. So let's move on from that one. Raymond has joined us in the studio. Good morning, Raymond.
Good morning.
It's lovely to see you. You've come in all guns blazing. So yes, what do you think about what Mr. Ofori-Atta said yesterday?
Is it the committee part?
No, we're starting from what jumped at you from and then the committee, or you can do it the other way.
To be fair, I don't know, but I think this statement could have waited. Then the vice president on the 3rd, if he's still going to do it, will do his town hall meeting, and he fuses him perfectly. I'm wondering what else the vice president is going to say about the economy that's not been said in this statement. I'm wondering what else there is to know about the economy that's not been put out here, because there are comparisons between 2016 and 2017, sometimes 2018 figures that are already in there. The vice president will tell us where we are supposed to come from. Secondly, there's also where we are currently. The vice president, according to what they are sharing out there, will tell us some detail on that. Finally, we are also given to understand that he will tell us where we are going from there, which is obviously in this statement. All the 3 major areas that you want to know about the economy is in here. Maybe he taking questions might be the difference from the ordinary people and not from parliamentarians, may be the problem in this case. But let me zero in on the part where the minister makes reference to a presidential direction. And again, that's what is also confusing to me. He could have just said that we would meet other groups and discuss this further. But he makes it clear that the president has directed him. Is it because he is unwilling to engage in that particular grouping? Or he needed clarity to tell us that there's a direction for him to act in this case? Because the minister was very forthright when he said in paragraph 29, as they say, the numbers don't lie. And this was after giving us data from 2017 on inflation, 2016 versus 2018. inflation, fiscal deficit, interest rate, current account deficit, and these numbers are proper. Yeah, right. The difficulty here is that he then tells us that, as they say, numbers don't lie. As such, it is clear from the data that the depreciation of the cedi was not due to weak fundamentals, but rather a combination of structural rigidities. Let's get it straight. The structural rigidities, they have been there since Nkrumah's time. We have spoken consistently about how to fix these problems since Nkrumah's time. Indeed, when we were promised that we're going to move from mere consumption to production, these were the things we're supposed to look at directly.
That's the structural things.
I wanted to hear the minister tell us that, well, we know, and there is this group of MIT students who created a page where our consumption goes, where we do imports and exports is also there. They say machines are the highest importation grouping we have in this country. Then other things follow. I wanted the minister to tell me that since we came into office, we've actually started 14 different companies under the 1D, 1F to reduce by this percentage the number of machines we are importing to the country. So that locally, and that's what we talked about when we talk about import substitution industrialization. Yeah. And I'm sure even the young people who are studying what they call it, social studies in Presec today, will be told that particular theory, not even economics. But that's what we wanted him here to say on that. But after telling us whether they are out of a combination of structural rigidities and they listen to the second one, apparent speculative behavior of portfolio investors and market participants. One, we said here that the decisions of government is making it difficult for the investors to continue investing in this economy. Because if I am investing in if I bought bonds, cedi-denominated bonds, let's not confuse you with the euro bond. Yes. If I bought cedi-denominated bonds and you reduce prime rates by 100% basis point, what you're virtually telling me is that I'm going to have lower rates. If I'm going to have lower rates, I'll go to other countries. Let me tell you other countries that are benefiting from the system. And I'm just diving into the Eurobond part so that we are clear on that. We know, for example, that we went for 3 billion. What did we go for the 3 billion? The 7-year part of the 3 billion was 7.875. The 12-year part was 8.125. The 31-year part was 8.95. Let's compare to Senegal's state match on. Senegal had a 2.2 billion. The 1 billion part was at a coupon rate of 4.75 for 9 years. The other 1 billion part was 6.75 for 29 years. And if you like, compare it this way, 31-year bond, we got 8.95. Senegal got 6.75. And okay, again, let's be clear, it was oversubscribed by up to like 10 billion. Now, let's look at Ivory Coast, neighboring Ivory Coast, the one on is it left or right? Yeah. On the 16th of March, Ivory Coast actually issued 2.1 billion. Our 12-year attracted 8.125. Their 12-year attracted and 5.25%. Wow. You see the difference? Mm-hmm. When our 12-year was attracting 8.125, theirs actually got 5.25. So the borrowing of itself, the people out there, the investors, they know your economic situation. They can speculate and understand it better.
So
they
Raymond,
know whether you are doing better.
Whilst we are singing that this is the lowest coupon rate that we've ever got, compared to other countries, it's actually not that great. Because I'm an investor,
I would choose where my money will give me more.
Yeah, and be safe.
Economies that I can trust better than others will depend on how I'm going to choose them in this particular case. So the point I'm seeking to make here is that even the minister has told us the main problems.
That's what I said.
Yes, he told us that there are two of them. And one, the second one about speculative behavior of portfolio investors and market participants. We understand that we have to work on. It's not something that happens consistently. So maybe your decisions have affected that. What I heard the Bank of Ghana's Stephen Opata say was that we are going to correct those things so that the investors would have interest in this system. No, but the minister is suggesting, even in the solution, a very different format in this case. So I'm unclear what the monetary policy is in this case. The minister is saying that, of course, the part he deals with this is solutions. They need to recognize they need to take the following steps. Develop our capital market, insurance and pension industries to ensure government domestic borrowing relies less on foreign portfolio investors.
Meanwhile, we've just taken a bond.
Yes, but maybe that's yet to happen. I agree with you. But my confusion is that on the other side, the Bank of Ghana is seeking to change policies that have made them try to take their money out by getting them to stay. The Ministry of Finance is rather interested in changing, maybe this is in the long term, and that's the only justification I can put to it, changing the scope in such a way that we don't rely on foreign portfolio investors. So which one is the real policy direction for us going forward? Again, there is a point that I need to make because I know you are moving to other matters. So
go ahead.
I don't want to
go ahead.
obstruct the space. There are things that were said about the CD itself. And I then ask myself again, when we go through all of these cycles that we are talking about, we know that the CD will depreciate. We know that we have not fixed the structural rigidities properly. We know that we need to deal with, if you want to promote exports, 3 key things. Export promotion in and of itself. That's why we have the Ghana Export Promotion Authority or whatever. Then standardization. Some time back, you recall that we had difficulties with our vegetables and other things because of standardization. Yes. Then the third one is financing, ESM. What are these various institutions doing? Do we know clearly the policy guidelines and the direction they're supposed to take so that we have the next, assuming the last 2 years, all that we've tried doing is to make sure that we promote local industry in a way that we can replace what is being exported for elsewhere. We should be in the position to also export because that's what brings in the dollars. How is Exim Bank currently? And I see they have a new office around the opposite. What's the name of the Agric Bank? They have Agric Bank, their headquarters. They'd be headquarters.
Yeah, that's a financial house.
Very good. Opposite that, I see they have some very wonderful new house there. Yeah. What is Exim Bank doing to make sure that the people who are supposed to do the exportation, they get the needed financing to do that? Number 2, the Ghana Export Promotion. I would like to see which roles they are playing with the various units across the country. And we have long defined our, international policy and diplomatic policy to be economic diplomacies. How many of the people have you put in the various units as attachés or in charge of the various, development units across the country, across the world, are helping us promote the goods? And again, how many of these goods have we selected as our main agenda for this year? So this year alone, we will make sure that we reduce rice importation by 80%. What is being done at Afife, at Veime? Those are the things that I was expecting to hear from the finance minister. Then it gives me the courage. It gives the investor out there the courage that these people, they are in the position to beef up the actual foundation of the economy. Because let's not deceive ourselves. Indeed, when we talk about improving growth rate, we're basically talking about non-real sector growth rate. Because between 2016 and now, and 2018, the real sector growth rate has stagnated. So the places you get the jobs, the places you get the exportations, and all of the important things actually stagnated. So you are not doing much.
You're not moving forward, really.
Locally, but it's good when you say 8.1%. When you break it down, you see the reality on the ground. And that's where we should confront and deal with specifically. But unfortunately, I heard, and that's why I was questioning why this was put out in the first place, but because I heard what we've been told before, because after the minority did some press conference, the minister of information virtually told us the same thing. Not in this detail. And the finance minister is telling us the same thing. Perhaps we need more of these, but we also need them to bring out to us or share as policy direction or as notes that they are sharing the rest of us how they are fixing the problem.
Right, yeah.
Because I'm still unclear in my mind what's the direction of the one district, one factory they are putting up today. How many of the factories are putting up things that we are going to export tomorrow to reduce what we've been importing?
We're bringing in, yeah.
How many of them? That's what we're interested in. Not just,
one district, one factory.
Yes, virtually everywhere. And it doesn't get to the point of helping you deal with your problem.
Right. Okay, I think this is why we need a bipartisan committee to investigate. Because from your breakdown, clearly, Mami, I'm coming to you. Does it seem like it's a lot of talk and we know what to do, but we're not really willing to take the Obama approach of, yes, we can cut down on this, do this, and fix the problem?
Honestly, just like assessing everything else, I think we're having a discussion earlier about how this whole Einstein quote about if you cannot explain something simply, then you don't really understand it. And there's so many people working in Ghana who want to understand all the things that are being mentioned here. What is inflation? What is a bond? What is a sovereign bond? What are all of these things? That sounds so sophisticated. But in actual fact, are very basic things. Because if you look back, when Mr. Tebe was just speaking right now, just take a trip back in history when we gained independence. Mind you, a lot of African states, or all the African states within sub-Saharan Africa, started their countries without any money. We had resources, but we didn't have money because our coffers were emptied let me speak from the Ghanaian perspective. So we started building the economy on loans. Because if you think about the Akosombo Dam, all of those projects that were run, we had to borrow money to start. If you look at the finance minister's speech, he starts from the IMF situation, our program. He moves on to the Eurobond, then talks about the CD. Just look at the progression, how it progresses, because he says that it's structural rigidity. So because it started from, I want to try and make everybody understand that it started from back in the day where we built our system, the economy, on debt, on loans, due to the lack of money. And now, in 94, moving forward, they came up with this thing called the structural adjustment programs, whereby your economy, the different sectors of your economy, your system, whether it's a political system, economic system, is run by programs given to you by the IMF and World Bank and come with conditions. So everything that you are doing as a state is built on borrowed money. And now the funny thing that we're experiencing at this point in time is that, yes, the structures we have in Ghana are not built by Ghanaians. It's built by foreign entities to help you to continue to collect loans. So now when you're thinking of how do we solve it, and he speaks about a bipartisan committee, he's trying to say that this is beyond your party affiliation. It's a Ghanaian issue. And it goes beyond looking at all the great numbers and the big vocabulary and breaking it down to what it is. Currency and money are two different things. So currency and money, even though they have the same definition in terms of portability, all of the basic things that we all know, money has value, not currency. That is why our CD gets powerful when we have enough dollars in our reserve bank. It's dollars that have value, not the CD. So what happened? So because if you look at how money, I think I mentioned the last time, the concept of the dollar having value was because of the amount of silver or gold you would have in your reserve bank. The US changed the entire system. They unpegged their currency from that, from the gold and the silver, to making it stand on its own. What backs the dollar? Absolutely nothing. It is your recognition of the dollar having value and multiple people using and recognizing.
That's what gives the value.
Thank you. So now, what gives a CD value?
Yeah.
The dollar. What gives a dollar value? Nothing. And so we live in a international financial system that has been designed even before us. So we are just like kind of, I don't know, call it self-fulfilling prophecy. You're in it. You don't have control over it. That is why one thing the finance minister should have mentioned was ECOWAS's plan for us by 2020 to have one currency. What does it mean? Let me just go quickly, very fast. Think about trade by barter, right? What made something have more value? More people wanting it. Like salt, right? How many people want the CD? How many people use the CD? So think about, why is India's economy strong even though the rupee is not that strong compared to the dollar? Why would China, and I mentioned this the other day, why would China just devalue their currency? Because they want to make exports cheaper, right? So people will spend less to buy their goods on the international market. It's not about the currency. The main thing is that the value behind it. How many people use the Chinese yuan? They don't need Africa to use their currency. They have enough of the population. That is why in Ghana, with African states, and Ghana, I keep saying African states because we are small. What's the population of Ghana? Mumbai alone is the population of Ghana, Mumbai. So when, this is a city in India, they have 25 states. That is why, as Ghana, we cannot do this on our own. See, a long-term solution is to break that cycle of borrowing, whereby you can generate revenue. And yes, you want to help your local industries, but think about it. You have IMF loans and World Bank loans that have conditions. IMF loans that we are still owing, they come with conditions where you cannot subsidize your farmers. You cannot invest in education. Why is the free education situation? Why do you have to go to the private sector? Because government cannot raise that money. We have rules attached to some of the monies you've taken. It's a very crazy system. If you break it down, you realize our hands are tied. Our solution will come when we sit down. How did China and India develop? They shut their doors to the West. They built from within. And then they opened up. We have exposed ourselves. And we don't understand why. We've been exposed as a continent, as a state. Now look at our size. So you're like, oh, this is very strange. The CD, what's happening? My dear, the CD has no value. It will never have value. It's a currency. What has value is money. And so if we choose to say the dollar is what has value, that is why people said countries like, if you look now, just a quick last thing, Russia and China are trying to move away from the dollar to sell oil and gold. What are they trying to do? They're trying to take away
the value of the dollar.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because they know that they can no longer use sanctions on states like Iran, Venezuela. Why would they do that? That's what they call being strategic. So Africa at this point, yes, maybe we may never be able to fight the dollar, but we can unite and have a powerful currency. That means if I go to Nigeria, look at the population of Nigeria, I go to Kenya, we can use the same money. Guess what? Popularity, recognition, value.
Right. Norman, I'll come to you in a second. Raymond, listening to what Mami is saying and comparing it to what the Minister of Finance is putting out there as the possible solutions. I mean, how far away are we from getting into a space where we're not borrowing as much, where we're not importing as much, and where there's some value behind our currency?
So two things. I mean, we all know how to run our basic economies, right? If you don't have enough money, you don't spend enough. That's important. But because we put ourselves in box corners of having to deal with promises you make specifically during campaign, you have to deliver on these promises. So you have to borrow to deliver on them. So you say you aid the private sector build factories. You say that you'll actually provide a dam in some villages. You also make sure that there is also free education. Yeah. I remember it was this same studio we said that it was blanket free education is always going to be problematic because the countries that have done it very successfully, they did it with day schools. If you have predominant day schools, you take out a huge chunk. And today, the biggest budget of the people in the senior high schools is the feeding. Yes. A huge chunk is taken off if they are distant in this particular case. But, I mean, government decided to do it and do other things, other wonderful things, including having to go back to the system where government is the one creating the jobs, like in NAPCO. All of these are bringing more pressure on the small amount of money, part of which are using to pay so many other groups and also paying previous debt that you have to deal with, debt interest on which is going by the year and all of that. And imagine you don't have dollars already. You are struggling to get dollars and you have to then have so much dollars to go and pay debts that you are actually owing people in this case. So we are in this quagmire because we could have decided that when we are taking a different turn in 2017, we would deal with the essentials of the state and not necessarily get flamboyant. But I'm just asking myself, the political economy sometimes makes it difficult for you to be reasonable with the economy. Because when you're not promising more, people think you're not doing anything. And that you have no alternatives. You have no things to show us and the things you do. But I think we should get to a point where any people that's promised, like the US people are doing to Trump, yes, you can give all the big promises that you build walls, you do free exercise and all of that. But please, when it comes, don't touch the monies that we have for specific things. So, for example, we are virtually scaling back the essence of our attempt to do devolution in district assembly management by capping it and give them very little. So now we cap it, give them very little. Then we use the Special Development Ministry to say that we are going to buy, how do you call that thing? No, we are going to build KVIP for them again. From central government, from the Special Development Ministry. Why do we tell the District Assembly that do composite budget from your end because you want you to participate in the governance structure? Because you don't know better than the people on the ground what they need. And yet, we would redevelop the system, cap that money going to them, and get back to central government and say, we are the ones going to build the KVIP. And later on we'll discuss with you the other things that you need.
Yeah.
So we want to be seen as having central government doing more because it's for the next election. Don't forget it.
Yes, of course.
We need to show evidence of action for the next election. Perhaps someday we'll get to the point where the entire state is thinking about the next generation more
than the next election.
Yes, because if you do some of these things,
you may lose an election, but you win for the next generation. Right.
Yeah,
and I think that's what our focus must. That's our focus must switch.
Yes.
Essentially, I need to take a break. Go and do some commercials. But when we come back, we'll continue this conversation. We'll also be speaking to Professor Eric Osei Asibe. He's an associate professor of economics at the University of Ghana. This is Joy 99.7 FM. Stay with us.
Wake up in the morning, it's a new day, and I got bills that I have to pay. Now you're running late, running out of time. Feels like the world is waiting in line. All you gotta do is pick up the phone and just dial 737. So whatever you do, wherever you are, there is an easy way for everyone. The simple life is just one touch away. Experience the magic starting today. And it all begins with 737. And it all begins with 737. 737.
You see, I don't need to write or cash a check. I don't need data or internet. I have something that's faster than a jet. Just like
what they're talking about. You could be a palm wine topper, a teacher, a rapper, a schoolboy or a school girl or a trader, a bank MD, a chairman or a baker.
Guaranteed Trust Bank. Wouldn't you rather bank with us? This is what you've been waiting for. The internet experience you've been dreaming about. Welcome to Vodafone's Gigabit Net. Music, pictures, and large documents downloaded in seconds. Lessons from your favorite online masterclass streamed right into your bedroom. Video calls with friends anywhere in the world. Be part of the real 4G experience on Vodafone's Gigabit Net at amazing speeds and seamless connectivity. With Vodafone's Gigabit Net, it's not downloading, it's downloaded. It's not sending, it's sent. It's not buffering, it's streaming. Switch to Vodafone and get the real 4G experience on Ghana's only Gigabit network. The future is exciting. Ready?
It's a new day.
I want you to first think big, not small. Think of how great we can be when we work together. Together, we can ensure that our hard work will provide a better future. Together, we can provide a foundation for you and your business to succeed, regardless of its size. Together, we can create opportunities for all. Bank with us today and let's journey forward together.
Forward together.
Cowbank, forward together.
Sanya mwa jay atumuno sana yeso ye jay moho and nonte ni edi wu kuya da jadie e brew. Annie, this is the Market Day Wednesday. There is always good news when you buy from Malcolm, but there's extra super on every first and third Wednesday of the month. With your Malcolm Super Saver card, you earn a whooping 10% on all purchases worth 150 Ghana cedis and above. Nakai hunu se ukede di kaini ukede tosu miensa wo busumi biya muna sajadie yikoswo. Koso Malcolm shop BMO Ghana Finance. Hurry, look for your Malcolm Super Saver discount card and be part of this fantastic offer. And just in case you don't have, walk to any of our Malcolm branches nationwide and grab one for yourself. Discount is not valid on product already on offer. And remember, terms and conditions apply. Malcolm, where Ghana shops.
Click, send, download, server down, upload, buzz, buffer, Wi-Fi down, print, ping, call, connection lost, video call, vibrate, transfer, call, share, receive. That's the sound of the pace of business today. Airtel Tigo Business provides you with a full suite of flexible mobile plans, value-added services, and reliable fixed services for the startups, SMEs, and corporate businesses, so you can adapt, develop, expand, and progress. Contact us today at business@airteltigo.com.gh so we can help your business evolve. Airtel Tigo Business, making business simple.
It's time to experience something edgier. A refreshingly different music experience. The most exciting music event on the social calendar. This March, get ready for the second annual 3 Music Awards. With live performances from some of your favorite Ghanaian and African music stars. Coming off live at the Fantasy Dome, Trade Fest Center on Saturday, the 30th of March, 2019 at 7 p.m. Performing live, Kitty, Kwame Eugene, Wendy Shade, Adina, Medical Grammy-nominated act Rocky Dawouni, Joey B, Joe Metal, Shatta Wale, Aquabwa from Nigeria, Victor A, and many more exciting performances. Tickets are selling fast at 100 Ghana City regular and 150 Ghana City VIP. Grab your tickets at Joy FM, Airport Shell, Machona Total, and the Fantasy Dome. Call 0540-106-466 to book your tables at the VVIP section. The 3 Music Awards is presented by Joy FM, Hits FM, Joy Prime TV, and the Fantasy Dome, and with support from Love FM, Joy News TV, Adum FM, Adum TV, Asempa FM, Inchira FM, MyJoyOnline.com. Dial *713*2# to continue to vote for your favorite acts. The 3 Music Awards 2019. Here for the music.
Super Morning Show.
And these words are so true. When you don't have money, you are sick. If you see me and I'm not feeling well, it means that I don't have money, to be honest. First diagnosis. But yes, this is Bat Thomas with Sikai and Moja. And this morning we're talking about money. Because yes, money is blood, and I mean we need it for everything. So pretty basic. Yep. Text messages on the Super Morning Show brought to you by Afrodan. Your back must last you a lifetime. And Glyco Critical Illness Plan, G-SIP. Glyco, we cushion you for life. And we'll be opening the phone lines in a little bit so that you can tell us what you think of what the finance minister said. And also concerning what we've been talking about in the studio with Raymond, Mami, and Novan about the sustainable goals that we should make to becoming debt-free and also having a strong economy. And I love Mami's submission on the value behind the cedi, because I think at the heart of the matter, that's what it is. Does our currency have value? But all of you texting in, thank you very much. Please keep those WhatsApp messages coming through. I'll be reading them in a second. We're also asking, today's the last day of Ghana month, and we're also asking you, what is your favorite thing about being Ghanaian? What is your favorite thing about Ghana? And actually, let me interrupt this conversation real quick and just take your thoughts around the table just to lighten it up a little bit. Novan, what's your favorite thing about being Ghanaian?
I think that peace of mind. that you have, the peace of mind that I have.
You know, Bennett said the same thing.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be in certain countries. I don't think I would be happy to be in Afghanistan. I won't always be in Syria or be in any of these countries. And the fact that I can get up in the morning, still come to work without any problem. We may have our own challenges as a nation,
but the peace
is okay.
And the wache. Mami, what's your favorite thing?
I'll just say the humor, just to be able to laugh on a daily. A lot of people don't have that in certain states, and I think that Ghana we can find humor in some
in everything. Everything has a meme. I mean, as soon as something happens, the next thing you know, it's on social media.
Yes.
But does that mean that we don't take things seriously enough? That's on the flip side. Yeah, exactly. On the flip side, yes. Raymond, what's your favorite thing about Ghana?
I think it is the fact that you're on the side of the right history. If you go across the world, people cherish you just because you are from Nkrumah's home. And yes. People actually believe that you are for the black man some spotlight of goodness when it comes to history. So that is it.
We're the Black Panther of okay, I'm going to move on from that. Okay, so this is the Super Morning Show. My name is Enima Enimado, and very shortly we'll be speaking to Professor Eric Osei-Asibe. He's an associate professor, of economics at the University of Ghana. We'll be talking to him about the cedi and the Eurobond and matters arising from yesterday's encounter with the Minister of Finance. But the average person will sit about 75,000 hours in his working life. As humans, though, we're not meant to sit for extended periods of time. We are designed to be upright, be moving, walking, and on the move. Sitting and standing still for extended periods are detrimental to our health. How then do we protect our health since we mustn't necessarily sit to work? Well, the answer can be found with Afrodan. Afrodan is offering you today the most comfortable chair in the world, period. The Nightingale Extreme Comfort Chair. With over 10 thoughtfully engineered features, especially customized for your health and comfort, working has never had it this good. Go to Afrodan on the first floor of the Swansea Shopping Arcade and you will be amazed. Now, have you ever had a loved one suffer as a result of cancer, kidney failure, or heart disease? The emotional and financial stress is traumatic. The Glyco Critical Illness Plan, GCIP, has been designed to alleviate some of the financial burdens critical illness poses on loved ones and family. Do not wait until it's too late. Sign on to the Glyco Critical Illness Plan, GCIP, for financial support when you are diagnosed with critical illnesses such as cancer, strokes, kidney failures, among others. Speak to Glyco Life today for your GCIP policy on 020-2222-113 or dial star Glyco star GLICO on your Starphone app. So on your Starphone app, you dial star GLICO, available on Android and iOS. Glyco Life, we cushion you for life. And I'll be taking some of your messages now. Shiftman Atonsu from Kumasi says, I think that the government is doing its best to ensure that our cedi stands strong before the dollar and needs to be commended. The Bank of Ghana injecting money into the system is an order, so we should all be hopeful. Bobby Big Boss Teacher Mante says, listening to the finance minister and comparing the GDP growth, inflationary rates, non-oil growth of the previous years, I can confidently tell you that the current economic indicators today are in the right direction, which signifies a strong economic fundamental as compared to the Mills Mahama regime. Mohammed Nyan Pala says, where is the best political economist, Baumia? And the cedi is depreciating. He should address the problem. I've had quite a few people asking this very same question. But he'll be speaking on the 3rd. It's the 3rd of April, Raymond, right? Yes. So you can stay tuned for that. Walanyo in Akwetia says, one thing people know but decided to pay a deaf ear to is that the NPP government knows how to manage the economy than those NDC. Things will work better even without IMF, and that's a fact. So those are some of your thoughts. But coming back to the table, I'm reading these messages and and thinking about the fact that a lot of times we politicize the cedi depreciation. When I was going through the Minister of Finance's statement, he talks about, he compares. So this period here is this period here and this period here, and so we're doing better. But to the spare parts dealer or to the person who has a store, what are we actually doing better, or are we actually doing worse? What do you guys think, really quickly?
Okay, so anymore, if you want to look at the cedi and its challenges and what we should be doing to deal with it, I mean, we ought to tackle it very well as a people.
Novan, let me just interrupt you for 1 second, because I have Professor Eric Osei-Asibe. He's the Associate Professor and Head of Distance Education at the University of Ghana on the line. Good morning, Prof.
Good morning, anymore.
How are you this morning, sir?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yes, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. So, first question, what jumped at you from yesterday's statement from the Finance Minister?
Well, I think a lot. I mean, from the fact that we have been able to win ourselves from the IMF, I think it's good news for us. And then also the raising of bonds, also to show up the currency and to ensure debt reprofiling. I think these are good news for the country. And also the mention about the exchange rate, which for me is one of the biggest threats and the problem for this economy. I mean, for a long time now, that has been one big threat to macroeconomic stability. And so I think the time has come that we really take a deep the policy direction as to how we are going to arrest this perennial, depreciation of our currency, which often throws everything out gear for us. So I think there are so many things that we can talk about that actually presents good news for the country. But at the same time, it also presents a challenge. We are also confronted with a challenge whether indeed the center can hold, whether winning ourselves from the IMF will be able to sustain the gains that we have chalked so far. Because I don't think after 50 years of independence we can continue on this path. That about 16 times we have been with the IMF. We seem to have stabilized our economy. We pat ourselves, and then few months, few weeks down the line, we throw everything out of gear. I don't think that is the way we should go, because if we continue on that path, we lose credibility, we lose confidence of the market, and we will not be able to come out of our poverty trap. So it remains a challenge, and so I think we still have to do more, although we have achieved some considerable success. I think more needs to be done in ensuring that we don't ever. I think as a country we have to resolve, and it's a collective responsibility. All of us have to resolve that we're not going to go on that path again, on that tangent again, that everybody should play his or her role to ensuring that, yes, we know the issues that often takes us there. From the part of government, fiscal malaise, fiscal indiscipline, reckless expenditures, and revenue underperforming. And how would revenue underperform? It's also the civil responsibility for all of us that we don't pay enough taxes, we don't collect enough. Our tax yields are often very low. So government often also do not have enough revenue to pursue its expenditures to its development agendas. And so it's our responsibility. Everybody has to come on board, have to resolve that we have to play our part to ensure that we don't go back to IMF. Otherwise, I tell you, as we're going into an election year, if government began to be constrained by not able to mobilize enough revenue, with the pressure that will be coming from everyone, we need roads, we need that increased wages and all of that. There's huge threats, that could come to bear. The pressure could let any government give in. If you are not very strong and you still want to hang on to power, you are more likely to give in. And so we all have to really talk and see how best we can ensure that we have a sustainable macroeconomic stability for a long period to come.
In light of what you've said, do you feel that the bipartisan committee will be the solution to the cedi depreciation?
Well, it might not be the panacea, but I think it's a step in the right direction. I mean, the moment as a country we stop talking, the moment we stop in the moment we stop researching, perhaps that will be the end of us. I think we have to continuously talk because, I mean, we will often say that, well, we know the problem. We know what is causing the cedi. Is the export, is import, is... But let me tell you, we don't know that much because the world keeps evolving. It's very dynamic. What used to be the key determinant of exchange rate might have changed. You know, in conventional wisdom, that is, I mean, the economic theories would tell you that in the time past that we know that exchange rate was determined largely by our exports and import that determine the level of a currency's rates with other currencies. But in modern economies with the portfolio theories and asset demand theories and the new thinking, that is no longer the case. It's no longer your exports and your import that will solely determine your exchange rate. There are a lot more important factors that even if you are recording huge exports or trade surpluses and even current account surpluses, you can still have your currency depreciate. Because, I mean, look at it. These days, what actually moves currencies across the globe is not your export, it's not your import. It's about the assets. It's about capital that moves across borders in seconds, in minutes. And so you may be doing or exporting or importing less, but if your capital controls are weak and money can easily leave the shores of your economy can easily give in. So it is a holistic, approach to macroeconomic management and to currency management. You cannot look one side and think that you have solved it, and you cannot also use the solution in the past to tackle the solutions today. So you must constantly be on your feet and be looking at where is the problem coming from, who are the players, who is taking what out of the country, how do we keep that, how do we understand the demand side of the currency, the supply side of the currency, the sophistication that have come to bear, the dynamism. Constantly we need to be talking about that, otherwise we will lose it. And so for me, I don't think it's a wrong call. I think the time has come that, everyone with the ideas come on board and we all talk, we all discuss how best, and then go deeper into it. We need to research. We need to, perhaps we have always talked about it only when the currency is depreciating. And once we have some stability, we all go to sleep without going deeper to find out the structures, the underlying factors that often cause this seasonal depreciation. Until we do that, we cannot use the same solution and ensure and think that we will have that lasting and sustainable stability of the currency.
Finally, before you go, you spoke about the fact that we need to be careful about not going back onto the IMF path. And 2004 election year, we didn't spend much, but we do have election year coming up in 2020. How do you think that we will be able to curtail spending, especially in election year leading up to the elections?
I think it's about discipline. It's about commitment, political will on the part of government. It's about the citizenry's responsibility, meeting up to their responsibility, and also understanding the government in terms of the money available. Because more often than not, we the people, we often hold government to ransom, particularly in an election year, knowing very well that this is an election year. If we push little harder, we're going to get the result that we need. And so everybody will wait. Okay, let's wait. If government says you will not do it, let's wait till 2020, and then we begin to bring these issues up. And because for any government, you is always also thinking about its political fortunes, you will begin to yield. So it is about we being prudent in our fiscal management and making sure that we do not engage in off-budget expenditures, what we call recklessness in terms of expenditures. But we should know also that the people will be expectant, will be looking to seeing their roads fixed, will be looking to making sure that they have 3 square meals, will be looking to see that they have stable energy, and therefore the government must also gauge this and work harder, particularly in regard to revenue mobilization. Because at the end of the day, you cannot continually be cutting expenditures, all because you want to achieve fiscal prudence or consolidation. If you do that, the people will not be happy with you. So you have to be more innovative, more aggressive in your revenue mobilization so that you always have enough to spend. Otherwise, you have to then resort to borrowing, of course. I mean, I always say that borrowing is not that bad. It depends on what you are borrowing for. Every country borrows. You cannot say that as a country you are not going to borrow. No, however rich that you are. But you have to make sure that you manage the economy in such a way that you always have the capacity to repay your productive structures. One thing that we don't talk about much in this country is about our productivity growth. You know, until we are able to increase and enhance our productivity within the agricultural sector, within the manufacturing sector, and expand the production. The talk about currency and its value will always elude us. Will not elude us. We're not going to be there because I heard one of your panelists talking about the value of our currency. The value of our currency is largely determined by your productive structures. If your productive structures are weak, you tend to produce at a high cost. And the value of any currency is, in just a simple economic, is 1 over P, which is 1 over your price. And therefore, if your price increase, you reduce the value of your currency. If you are not able to produce on large scale, that will reduce your unit prices. Your value is going to be weaker. And therefore, you'll not be able to be competitive in the export world. You'll not be able to compete with other jurisdictions who produces more, and therefore their unit cost is often very low, and they having a stronger currency.
Right,
so the bottom line really is we producing and ensuring that we innovate more, we increase our productivity in all spheres of our economy, the value chain, the supply chain, in transportation, in the productive capacity, in the marketing, every sphere. We have to make sure that we increase our productivity so that our pricing will be competitive, so that the demand for our products will increase. And we also, as people, demand what we produce and spend less on exportable products.
Okay, all right. Thank you very, very much for joining us this morning, Prof. It's been lovely talking to you. That was Professor Eric Osei Asibe. He's an associate professor of economics at the University of Ghana, sharing his thoughts with us on the finance minister's statement to Parliament yesterday. We're going for the Joy Business Minute. When we come back, we will wrap up this conversation with Raymond Mami and Norvan. Stay tuned.
The last weekday of the month of March.
Yes, it's Darrell and Karen with the Joy Business Minute.
Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is describing the exit of foreign investors from the local bond market as rather good for the economy. It has been cited as one of the main reasons for the cedi's depreciation.
Today, a dollar is likely to be sold to you around 5 cedis 52 pesos. The British pound selling at 7 cedis 14 pesos, and the euro, on the other hand, going for 6 cedis 10 pesos.
The Institute of Fiscal Studies is proposing an amendment of the Petroleum Revenue Management Act to merge the Stabilization and Heritage Funds. According to the Institute, when the two funds are merged, revenue will increase to enhance government projects and give good returns on petroleum investments.
Elsewhere, Chinese telecoms giant Huawei said revenues topped $100 billion in 2018 despite a US-led campaign against the business on fears it poses a security threat. The firm said revenue for 2018 hit $107 billion.
There's no stopping Huawei.
So it appears.
At Afrodan, we believe that many of the problems people have with their health is as a result of the way they sit. In other words, your chair can kill you. Here's Dr. Marcus Mann of the Chiropractic and Wellness Center.
What you have to remember is that the spine is the lifeline to your body, and posture is the window to that spine. Now, posture is affected by your daily activities and habits like sitting. That's why at the Chiropractic and Wellness Centers, we recommend what I believe to be the best chairs available for preventing not only subluxations, but also other health problems that you may not be aware of. And that's Rabami and Mobilex chairs. Unfortunately, on a daily basis, I have to correct the effects of this poor sitting habit in our businessmen and businesswomen. Always remember, optimal spine equals optimum health.
So, for the sake of your health, buy Rabami or Mobilex chairs from Afrodan. We are on the first floor of the Swansea Shopping Arcade. Telephone 663-085.
Hey, Kwame, what's up here? My brother, my wife has been diagnosed with cancer. What? My brother is here with kidney disease too. Oh, yeah.
Do you know the World Health Organization estimates that over 16,000 new cases of cancers are diagnosed annually in Ghana, and kidney diseases account for 10% of all medical admissions to Korle Bu?
But thanks to Glyco-Critical Illness Plan, GSIP, I have spent over 20,000 Ghana cedis on my younger brother's disease. Yeah. What is GSIP?
Glyco-Critical Illness Plan, GSIP, provides you with financial support when diagnosed with any critical illness or dread disease such as cancers, strokes, kidney failures. Speak to GlycoLife today on 0302-218-500 for your GSIP policy. It is definitely in our interest to survive. GlycoLife, we cushion you for life.
Welcome to South Africa, your own personal playground.
Welcome to the Cape One.
Welcome to Johannesburg.
Welcome to Shaka Marine World.
Welcome to Canal Walk.
Welcome to the Nelson Mandela Capture Site.
Welcome to
the Cape Town Jazz Festival.
Welcome to the Midlands.
Welcome to Maboneng.
Welcome
to East London. Welcome to God's Window.
With 54 million welcoming South Africans, all eager to make your holiday that much more inviting, allow us to indulge you with all our favorite sights and sounds. Visit SouthAfrica.net to discover more. South Africa, inspiring new ways.
I am Dr. Acacia. Acacia gives your workers the best customer service and treatment options when the need arises, keeping them healthier and more productive for your business. Acacia Health Insurance. We place value on those you value.
Hey, Sammy. Yeah, brother. I say yesterday, you do some magic way I shock.
What's happened?
Yeah, yesterday, the money go take pay for your hospital bill self. Charlie was a problem. As me, I did there, the worry. Oh, I didn't put his phone, dial something. Where I follow him go the MTN store opposite the hospital. He spoke to the iOS Send with care staff and he came out with 600 Ghana cedis in his mobile money wallet to sort the hospital bill, my brother.
What? Are you send with care?
Yeah.
Why? He be sponsor.
Remember the 200 Ghana cedis he sent to Maminzima last week using MTN iOS Send with care?
Yeah, I
that be what they triple give one back as an insurance cover.
Sayo!
When you want to send mobile money, simply dial *170# on your MTN phone. Select option 1, scroll down and select option 3, send with care. Then boom, you get the money tripled as medical cover for yourself and life cover for both you and the recipient. To claim, simply dial *170#. Call 100 for more information. Terms and conditions apply. This policy is underwritten by Metropolitan Life Insurance Ghana. Ayo, because you care.
Providence Insurance, insurance for marine. Providence Insurance, insurance for your motor. Providence Insurance, insurance for your property. Providence Insurance, your future happy days.
With Provident, man, you are covered.
Since inception, almost 100% of Ashesi University students have found jobs, started businesses, or gone on to graduate school within 6 months of graduation. From Accra to Nairobi, London to New York, Ashesi graduates are noticed and they are leading successful careers. If you dream of a rewarding life and career, an Ashesi education prepares you for just that. Learn more about applying to Ashesi at www.ashesi.edu.gh. Remember, admission is ongoing.
Mrs. Corte, I'm your chauffeur for today. And because you paid for our service using your UBA MasterCard Platinum, this ride is free.
Really?
Absolutely.
I'm not done yet, though. I have so
so much shopping to do.
Enjoy more offers on the UBA MasterCard Platinum Card wherever
I'm
you
coming.
are. The more you spend, the more you earn. Enjoy discounts on airlines, chauffeur and car rental rides, and premium shipping. There are shopping offers, purchase protections, and digital insurance claims. UBA, Africa's global bank.
Morning Show.
And yes, this is the Super Morning Show here on Joy 99.7 FM. It's 7 minutes past the hour of 9. My name is Enimo Enimado, and I'm here with Raymond Aqua, Mame Awinado, and Northern Aqua Hayford, I must add. Now, with over 30 years in the stationery business, Kingdom Books and Stationery now offer a 30-day credit facility with no interest charge. We deliver free within Accra, Tema, and surrounding towns. Visit us today at Osu Akwaje University of Ghana campus. Kingdom Books are next near the Accra Sports Stadium, Tema on the main TDC junction, Kumasi on the KNUST campus, Cape Coast on the UCC campus, Takrade at Fijai near the Teachers Hall. You can call 0302 764 101 or 762-307. You can also visit www.kingdomgh.com. Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited, your number one stop shop for all office essentials, stationery and furniture. Are you a tested and well-resourced sales personnel? A reputable insurance company needs experienced salespersons at tactical and operational levels. Interested and qualified persons should send their CVs to prosper@cimgghana.org. So it's CIMGHANA. It's not a double G in there. Or so that's CIMGHANA.org. prosper@cimghana.org. CV should reach us on or before Friday, April 5th, 2019. Limited spaces available to be filled. Call 0244405010 for further inquiries. 0244405010. And I'm opening the phone lines for your thoughts this morning. It's 0302-216-541, 0302-216-541. Call in and tell us what you think about what the Minister of Finance said. And I'd like to take my closing comments from my guests in the studio, Raymond, Mame, and Norvan. So I'm going to start with Raymond. And Papa has instructed me to give you 30 seconds.
Okay.
So
then I'll stick with this. I just want to speak on the Eurobond plan. Since 2007, we have issued 5 of these Eurobonds, and of course on the international market. And we are looking at the end of October 2018. Our total issuance stood at $6.5 billion US. Today, I want you to ask yourself. I'm sure you have seen projects. You have seen Terminal 3. You have seen Atuabo. You have seen other roads being done. Whether you think that our path of dealing with our debt situation and infrastructure development is the best way to go. Are we forever going to be hinged on bonds, be it Century? You know, recently there was someone also talked about be it Panda, Century, Green, Samurai, or whichever one that is coming up in this case. Or we can look within, find the resources and deal with our issues, cut our expenditure, and make sure that we live within our means so that we can grow within our means. If you think about these issues, perhaps going to the future, we know what we want to do.
Okay, Mommy, go ahead.
And just to even add to what he said about living within your means, thank God for the quote, that African quote or proverb that says, or Ghanaian, it says, cut your coat according to your size. And that means that at the end of the day, as a nation, as a family, let us not live beyond our means. And let's look.
The actual quote is that cut your coat according to your cloth, because you might be big, but the cloth might be small.
Oh, interesting. So according to your cloth.
Then when you cut it, then you lose weight to fit into it.
Oh, thank you. Exactly. That is so wise. Exactly. And so I think that if we lived like that, we will stop spending money that we don't have, so that our children will not have to only struggle and start from scratch, but they are starting from a debt, from a deficit.
Negative.
Yeah. It's unfair. And so we hope that we'll make better decisions for the future future generations.
Okay, Northern.
I want to look at the revenue and expenditure side, and I think that as a nation, we must try our best to be able to raise enough revenues. Because if you're looking at the revenue and expenditure figures, even in 2019, we're looking at a budget deficit of 4.2%. What is the problem? And I think Prof mentioned it. It has to do with too much exemptions that we give to people at the port. It's not that we cannot raise revenues, but we're raising enough revenues. If you check the figures in 2017, you're talking of giving out over 5 billion exemptions alone. That is 2.6% of GDP for us as a nation. What we have to do, there's a bill in Parliament, and I believe that they should be able to pass this bill and ensure that we cut these exemptions. People will raise enough revenues, and then we spend, prudently or judiciously to ensure that we stay within, just as Mami said, you cut your coat according to your cloth.
And if they've been able to pass the RTI bill, then we believe in their ability to pass bills that are in Parliament. Yes. And a happy birthday once again to our President, Akufo-Addo, sending you love and wishing you long life this morning. Also, a happy birthday to Akosua Boatima Okai Ofepa from Kevin Victor Barney and Gabriela Adum Barney. A very happy birthday to you if you're celebrating your birthday today. But when it comes to claims payment, no one does it better than Enterprise Insurance. In the year 2018, they paid more than 53 million Ghana cedis in claims without blinking an eye to thousands of their customers. The same-day claim payment initiative for vehicles is incredible. Last year, more than 2 million Ghana cedis was paid to vehicle owners in under 45 minutes. So with Enterprise Insurance, when it comes to paying your claims, they don't just say it, they actually pay it. Enterprise Insurance, your advantage. Also, a happy birthday to Mrs. Eunice Khan at Osu from your children Kelly, Casey, and Curtis Khan. Mum, it is our humble prayer that the good Lord who has seen you through 51 years of your life would see you through the rest. We want to say the biggest thank you for always being there for us. We love you, Mummy. And you have a song request for your mum, and we will try to play it for you before the show is over. This one is a happy birthday to Catherine Na Oyo Falconer of St. Anglican's Church in Dansoman, wishing you long life and good health. And finally, a happy birthday to Evangelist Ebenezer Hutowu of Pleasant Life Chapel, and it's from your wife Delali of First Atlantic Bank. And I'm going straight to the phone lines, and I have Sam. Good morning, Sam. Hello.
Good morning.
Hi, Sam.
Hi, good morning.
Okay, good morning. What's on your mind, Sam?
Anymore?
Yes.
A lot, but let me just say a few. I think this Dr. Bawumia lecture has taken too long. I quite remember when they were in opposition. In a month, you wake up every month, twice or once, and you have to listen to Bawumia's lecture. If I'm not mistaken, almost once every month or twice, he has a lecture on the economy. And since they've come to power, he's now going to give a lecture. I think MPP actually is clueless as to what they should do to arrest the Ghanaian cedi. How many times haven't we had this bond being issued for the past years, and so our cedi always go up and then come down and climbs up and come down. So I think they are just clueless as to what to do to arrest the cedi. Now, look, if they think we should be happy about this bond being issued, look, investors like we, it is a harvest time for us. They should bring the dollars into the system. We just go and change and then hold it somewhere. And it's time to invest in more dollars. So they should bring it. If they think pumping dollar into the economy is what is going to solve the issue with the cedi, then they are mistaken. They have no clue about what to do.
Right.
Thank
okay. You. Okay. Thank you, Sam from Tesano, for joining us. I have John from Sakumono. John. Hello.
Hello. Good morning, my sister.
Good morning. Good morning. What's on your mind, John?
Please, do you have Mr. Didi with you?
No, I don't. He's in the north at the moment.
Okay. Let me express my sadness, my worry to you. When he comes, tell him. Please, I know that today you have different topic. He denied me 2 opportunities last week. this week, Monday and Tuesday. Hello?
I'm listening to you, John.
Monday, when chairperson of Road Safety Commission came, he opened the lines, asked question. He didn't allow her to answer my question. On the Tuesday also, the MTTD director of training also came. I asked the same question. That's what we didn't allow him to answer my question. You know, we all worry about the road accidents. And as a driver, I'm also worried. So you should give us also opportunity to express our view on the road accident.
Okay, all right. Okay,
so I'm
John.
looking forward for you to invite the drivers also to come and talk their side of the story.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. Thank you very much, John, and I appreciate your concern. And we care about the drivers on the roads when it comes to road accidents and road issues. I'd like to say a very happy birthday to Mr. James Kwesi Addison. He is the nation's first international certified EQ coach and also a very, very trusted and loved resource person when it comes to emotional intelligence. Happy birthday to you, sir. I have Ishmael from Kumasi. Ishmael, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, good morning. What's on your mind?
Yeah, from where that I'm standing, I think our economists in this country are not doing well at all, because like getting sustainable jobs for the people have to be the first thing to do. For example, like if you come to agricultural sector, you have to bring the people together. You bring down the machines. You guarantee the job security of the people by giving them the skills, so that the job that they are doing can be sustainable and it can go across. Like, for example, if you go to a magazine today, everybody is working individually. Even the constitution says that everybody needs to have social security, and the parliamentarians are there making unjudicious decisions, forgetting about it because they think that they get what they want. But because even they say togetherness is strength. So what are we doing as a country to bring the people together to work so that the people's job can be sustained? So I think something needs to be done. We have to think and think deeply.
Right.
So the leaders of Ghana are thinking just shallow. They have to think deep. Something needs to be done about this country. God must save us. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. And I have Kofi on the line from Kumasi. Good morning, Kofi.
Good morning, Aniwa. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. What's on your mind?
This is Kofi Badrimba.
Yes.
You see, Aniwa.
Yes.
Some of us who didn't go to school and don't know what they call economic indicators. We have our own way of assessing the economy. At least we know CD and we know dollar. The finance minister is saying that the CD is doing well now than it was in 2016. Hey, 2016, the CD to the dollar was not up to 5 CDs, but now it's over 5 CDs. So what is the finance minister telling us? Now the CD to the dollar is 5 CDs plus. So what is he comparing? I mean, as someone said, MPP has no clue whatsoever as to run the economy. That is why we are having this hardship in the country as we speak. It is pathetic. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for calling, Kofi. And Kofi was my last caller. Thank you to all of you who called us and who tried to get through as well. Our text lines are still open to 0244 340 437. That's 0244 340 437.
Super Morning Show.
And that's Samini with Movement. You can catch Samini tomorrow at the 3 Music Awards at the Fantasy Dome at Trade Fair. Another interesting thing that you can catch is Roverman's Productions Q1 play, Dora Why. So Roverman Productions, in partnership with Joy FM and National Theatre, present a brand new original Able White play titled Dora Why. So Dora has been dead for 30 years, and yet Reverend and Mrs. Sowa find this note. Good evening, Thomas and Mabel. Today marks the 30th anniversary of my death. This is to keep my memory alive. Please don't forget me. Signed, Dora. Is this note really from Dora? If not, who is behind this cruel prank, and what does he or she want of Reverend and Mrs. Sowa? Dora Why shows at the National Theatre on the 6th, 7th, 20th, 21st and 22nd of April 2019 at 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. each day. The rate is 80 Ghana cedis. Ticket outlets: Joy FM, Shell Shops at Airport, Dansoman, Sakaman, East Legon, Achimota, Tema Community 11, Bacho 9, Hacho, Total, Motorway Supermarket, Goil Shops at Sakaman and Mile 7, Frankie's at Osu, and Quick and Fine Supermarket opposite UPSA at Medina.